I got to tell you, surprisingly, amid all of the usual whining that goes on in Davos, there have been a lot of mea culpas, including several from Germany's chancellor. Now, this one particular statement caught my eye. Take a listen.
Both Germany and Europe have wasted incredible potential for growth in recent years by dragging feet on reforms and unnecessarily and excessively curtailing entrepreneurial freedoms and personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility. You know, ironically, I made similar comments to Jesse Waters last night. Before this, and it was about a security guard. There was a building my office was in for years, and I used to see this guy every morning, early in the morning. He'd have on these headphones, and I said, "My man, why don't you take some college courses, right? I mean, you've been doing this for years." And he'd always tell me he would. He never did. It broke my heart, right? And I was sad, but I got to be honest. I wasn't necessarily surprised that he didn't take my advice. I saw it before. When I was in the Air Force, my friends used to laugh at me, right, as I was going off to my college classes and they were at barbecuing, right? And I begged them all, take the same advantage. And because I can tell you, after a couple of hours when I got back from school, I caught up with them, right? We started drinking later on that evening. So now I implore investors, always continue to educate yourself. That's what this show is all about, and that's what my town hall special is going to hammer home next week. So I've asked two of my favorite guests to stick around to share ideas for how individual investors can indeed continue to educate themselves. So let's bring back in Nicole Webb and Gary Kaltbaum. Nicole, let me start with you. You're extraordinarily successful. And I consider myself the Pied Piper of investing. Mm-hmm. What do you tell people, like, to help them, stay in the game?
Yeah, I'm really fortunate. I work with almost all of my clients' children, and so I do feel like I get to bring financial literacy into people's lives. The first thing I tell anyone now that is of the age where they are scrolling social media is take what you got in short form and ask AI to expand it in long form. I cannot stress this enough. Some of the short form rhetoric around TikTok and on Instagram platforms, it misses the really good, juicy part of the technical learning about business, about valuations, about being an investor, not a trader. Right. And I think if I could stress any one thing is the short form is great, but ask a platform to expand into a longer version of that information.
By the way, Reddit is good for that. If you can get away from the political stuff,
Yes.
and I am impressed with young people, the effort that they're putting into it. And again, to your point though, sometimes you'll see a post, get an LLC, go to the beach, and you never have to work again.
I mean, every G-Wagon is free in the year 2026 as long as you set up an LLC.
Yeah, what about you, Gary?
Number one is study risk management. Most people do not. I always tell people to recognize that things can go awry and make sure you have some sort of stop in place just in case. I've met a lot of people that have things that dropped to zero because it was a famous name and they hung on. But the second part of the equation is study the masters. Simple as that. You want to learn technical analysis, you read Stan Weinstein, William O'Neill, and the like. I've been at this a while. Yesterday I'm on X and I see somebody post something. It was an hour and 20 minutes of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. I'm going to watch it this week. They said it's a master class. I guess it will be. I'm a big believer if you want to be great at something, find somebody who's great already and study them like there is no tomorrow. You usually get a lot of great things out of it.
You just touched on something that was interesting with the chancellor. It was a mea culpa, saying, okay, we messed up. Mm-hmm. And I find a lot of young investors or new investors, that's what they struggle with, how to admit, okay, because it's a blow to the ego. It could be a blow to the wallet too. Yeah. How do you do that?
I would just carry on the Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett theme and say fundamental analysis is in your pocket. There is so many ways now in short order to get good fundamental analysis. But what I would encourage everyone to do is actually read the news, watch the people around you. You and I joked about Boot Barn and Landman, but it's not a joke. Charles, during the onset of COVID, you and I joked about Crocs.
Right.
You can pull up a chart on Crocs. We were right about Crocs then. There are things that thematically happen, and as the world's changing into a momentum environment with lots of passive flows of money, the young people should look at the past, but then also be really mindful of the future and thematically what's going on around them.
It's so ironic. I had this conversation on Big Money, right? You think about what young people are doing. They don't drink anymore, right? Constellation brand stock was $270, now it's 162. They stop, they buy at the thrift stores, right? And they've done this The real was $1 2 or 3 years ago. Now it's $16. I mean, this thing is up 16 times, and these young folks are the reason that's happening. So in their world, there are opportunities, but I feel like people have been told they don't know how to connect the dots or don't have confidence, Gary, in connecting those dots.
I think it's a little easier than that. For one whole year on my show, I was talking about how a Walmart was 2 miles from my house, and right there was also a Kmart, and you can tell the Kmart's toast and Walmart's thriving just by the service, the shelves, the dirtiness versus the cleanliness, just little things. That's the Peter Lynch principle. You can see
But
things.
to make that leap, though, you can see it, right? Or just when people like a product and a service and they tell their friends about it, but they never ever consider that they should be part owner of it.
That's where they got to take 15 minutes to a half hour of their time every night and just think about these things and how I look back at some of the things I've missed that were easy. I remember 4Kids Entertainment, Pokemon. My kid told me about it. I ignored it. I went up like 15-fold in the next 15 months. And who was laughing?
Right.
Not me. So it just always look around you, see what's great. If you see a line around the block for a restaurant, find out if it's public or if they're going public. The little things like that. Right now, this year, SpaceX. It went from a nothing market cap. It's going to be 1.6 bazillion.
Yeah.
Because why? They can capture their rockets. It's the most amazing thing I've seen forever.
Yeah.
These are the things you got to be looking for, and I can promise you they're going to be out there as we move forward.
I made a lot of money off my son when he was in school because of that, and my mom, forget about it. She introduced me to Grand Slams. Nicole, Gary, thank you both very much.